Welcome to the Out on Loan podcast. As always, I'm your host, Jeffrey Canova, joined by my beautiful co host here for today's episode in the Isaac Hausen, episode 47. Finally, we got the 47th episode out here. I know we've been doing our match day recaps, but I thought today, you know what, let's go a little bit longer here, recap some games, give our final thoughts, and just do the podcast with the new template as well. Finally, we were able to debut this. Shout out to you, Mr. Noah Randall, as always. Much love to you, one of our new editors out here and our graphics designers. And hopefully we get to see more of Noah's work as the tournament gets on, as we know knockout rounds are coming and approaching. We just got Matchday Three just about to end today for Group A, as Mexico are just, I think, 15 minutes away from kickoff going up against Czechia. And same thing for the other group in Group A for South Korea versus South Africa, the two battles of the two South nations out there, so that's going to be fun. The South Derby, as we like to call it. But we did get done with Group B earlier this afternoon or morning for some guys, and later on, we just got done with the Brazil just 45 minutes ago, as well, with Brazil's group in Group C. Or is that Group B? I don't even know. Group B, Group C, D,
I
whatever.
think Group D, maybe. I think
Group D, yeah, because we're Group C. USA is Group C, so and they play tomorrow. So, no, absolutely amazing games that we had so far. Mainly the what's it called? The from Group D, Brazil's group.
Hating Morocco.
Yeah, Haiti and Morocco. I just was not expecting that. I mean, did you see Haiti's second goal? That was just insane.
Yeah, that was a screamer.
rocket.
I have a feeling we're gonna be talking about it a little bit later in the episode when we get to it. At least I think I might be on there. Yeah, it was
I kind of spoiled it a little bit. Oops, my
that
bad.
was a screamer. That was an amazing goal. It's just an amazing game. We weren't really expecting that. I think a lot of people probably would presume Morocco to go in and stomp the result out. I mean, they still put up 4 goals by them, but still Haiti put up a good fight. That was an entertaining game. A little bit more back and forth, at least you'd say, than the Scotland Brazil game.
Oh yeah, definitely. Oh no, without question, I completely agree with you, man. But before we go, recapping the games from today, just as always, much love to Mr. Robin Stone at Stone Pictures for always producing our stuff. Much love to you, my brother. Can't wait to see you soon, as always. But going back to the games for today, where do we even start off, man? Canada, man. Canada, oh Canada, oh Canada. As I think I predicted from my predictions, if we can just look to my group. I know a lot of my groups are not looking good as of late for my predictions. But I will look for, I think Group A, I kind of called it when I did say that Canada would come in second in their group. And as I can see right here, I had Switzerland, Canada, Bosnia, and Qatar at last. And I got at least Group B correct as it stands. And I got Group C correctly today as well, with Brazil, Morocco, Scotland, and Haiti. So happy about that as well. Well, we're not too sure yet, as we can tell by today and by the end of the other group stage matches, is we are not sure about the third place teams as of right now for some matchups. As it stands, I think South Korea would potentially go up against Canada this coming Sunday for their round of 32 matchup. The first one being on Sunday for Canada, an away game. But it sucks for Canada, They won't be getting any home field advantage. Obviously, they want to get that first place spot and then trying to get some games in Canada. But they will be coming here to LA, my home team, my home ground here. So I will make it a living hell for them right here as I put on the South Korea jersey. Isaac, your thoughts on the game, man? What are your thoughts on Canada's, 2026 World Cup campaign as it stands?
Yeah, it's funny you reference your prediction. I was one of the on the opposite ends of that. I want to say I took them to win the group. I really bought into that home field advantage you talked about. I think just normally the history of those teams having success sort of on home field ground in the World Cup leading up to it. And I wouldn't say that's been a bad group stage entirety by I'd say by Canadian maybe soccer history standards. I mean, they came in seeking their first World Cup victory. I mean, that's kind of crazy to think about, sort of maybe even if them only being in 2 times to get their first victory, and they were able to do that. And especially that large win against Qatar was able to be a huge reason why they were able to kind of get out in the first place. Obviously, a very shaky result today. It looked really bad, especially going down 2-0. I'd say, especially through that and a little point afterwards until they got their goal. It's easy to say, but they looked really bad, I'd say, in this game against Switzerland. I think they kind of just looked outclassed. It wasn't something I was really expecting. I really felt that they were going to turn up in this game. And again, not necessarily their fault. I can't speculate to know the ins and outs of Canadian soccer. This is just from tuning in and watching their game and watching them throughout this tournament. I mean, they've had injuries, it's fair to say. They've lost. I mean, obviously, they didn't have Davies coming into this tournament fully healthy. Obviously, I think only I'm going to want to check right now. I don't even know if he came in, ended up coming in today. If so, it would have been the first time I believe he would have gone into the game. And I don't think he did. So like obviously you're without that. You're still kind of waiting for his first appearance in this tournament, I believe. And you have some injuries, obviously to Kone in midfield, and then I believe one of your defenders leading into this tournament. It's gonna be tough to overcome. So to be able to get that, not the worst things considered. Obviously, being a part of CONCACAF, I'm rooting for the team going forward. But yeah, that game against South Korea is going to be interesting, assuming, or most likely, it's going to end up that way if it hasn't already been confirmed. Because, like you said, they're traveling away from home, but you have to assume with the proximity they're going to travel well. You're going to see a lot of Canadian fans out there, but still, it's not in your home ground. You'd obviously love it in Canada, whether it be in Vancouver or Toronto. It would have been crazy. They very much brought the energy, just as much as the other two host nations have. So yeah, I guess you'd say a little bit worried about them. I still that game against South Korea is gonna be interesting to take. I think it's going to be very interesting to see how Jesse March is viewed coming out of this tournament. I think and brought in a lot of great things, but it's fair to say he's been questioned. Maybe more on the outside media. I don't know so much about Canada on the inside, but very interesting. I do not know, and they're going to be a very hard take coming into the knockout round. I really don't know which way I'm going to go in that game.
Yeah, I think from what I said before with South Korea, I thought the way they played against Mexico, and then obviously that comeback win that they got over Czechia. Um, I'm just very impressed with South Korea, so that's going to be a tough matchup for them. And like you said, the home advantage is going to be a big disadvantage for them pulling up to LA right here because we know here, and I know here in LA, we literally got Koreatown out here, and we have so many South Koreans. So, and LAFC fans who do support Sun as well. So you're gonna get that you're gonna get that as well as extra fans in that game. So yeah, it sucks for Canada, but like you said, man, I mean, if they were searching for the first win, I mean, they did the best they can in that group with Switzerland and Bosnia, who are tough opponents, and then obviously Qatar, just not that type of group. But speaking about Bosnia and Qatar, I mean, another great match. I was keeping an eye on that because I think Bosnia would potentially be one of the teams that we would face, if I'm not mistaken, for the USA.
I believe it
So I
just
wanted,
is the team we're playing. It's like 99.3% chance. I think it was like I saw somewhere it was like a 1 out of 300 chance for us to not. There's like that's the odds that some event needs to happen for us not to play them.
right. And I think it's all based on determining the the goal difference as well. So I think Bosnia have a really good high goal difference out there. I know they beat Qatar like 3-1 up there. So yeah, I'm curious to see how that will play out. Um, but no, good stuff from Bosnia as well. I mean, I should have not been surprised by them, and I was not. Well, but just in the way they performed this year, in their groups and stuff. I mean, remember they beat Italy, in that qualifying game, so they came out and I think they really impressed, especially that opening game against Canada. So good on them, man. Good on them. And unfortunately, they didn't get that result against Switzerland, but we know how good Switzerland can be on their day. So good for them, I guess. And shout out to the Bosnian fans as well. I don't know. Did you ever see those clips of them pulling up to Inglewood and almost near like the hood and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and they were repping blue? Man, that was hilarious, bro. I wish I was here for that.
I think my favorite part was people like, oh my God, do they know where they're going? Do you know where they're walking through? They're like, do you know the history of Bosnia and Herzegovina? Do you know if it's anyone what they've experienced? It was very fun. It was very nice to see that because it was very nice again. We talked about in the last episode the nice blending of cultures we've seen. So no, it's been great. It's more than outside St. Louis as we talked about inside this tournament. They've been great.
Yeah, no, definitely. So if you don't mind, Isaac, when you get the chance, you mind sharing your screen with the group. Unfortunately, my screen right here is not
Oh yeah,
working,
yeah.
but
Let me just put them up. Put them up.
just put up for my for like what the table looks like for them. As we head on to the final, we'll head on to Brazil's group as well. And I got some things to say about Brazil's group as well, with in regards to a certain player that I dearly love and appreciate so much in Mr. Vinicius Jr. But um, yeah, Canada for what it looks like on the table. If I'm pulling it, oh, thank you again, sir. We
No problem.
have Canada finishing, Switzerland finishing first, Canada in second, Bosnia third, and Qatar obviously in last place. Now for Group C. So that was Group C. My apologies right there.
Yes,
Group D will
sir.
be the USA's. Oh man, let me sleep here. Whew. We have Brazil winning against Scotland 3-0, and obviously Morocco and Haiti in that amazing game. Morocco getting a 4-2 result. Um, but we'll start with Morocco and Haiti. Morocco, if you don't mind pulling up, I think their lineups and stuff, so we can take a look at that real quick. I think with Morocco, I just been really impressed as well. I mean, they did have some few concerns here and there, especially in that Brazil game. The Scotland game was a good result, but they got some few players in there that are probably going to get some big moves moving forward now. I know Brahim Diaz is probably going to look for a move, especially if we sign the certain players that Mourinho's looking to get in terms of those bodies in the midfield. I know the youngster that has been popping up. I can't remember his name. So complex to remember, but the one kid from I believe Lille, who had some standout performances against Brazil, against Casemiro, and all that midfield, and in Scotland as well. I think Ayub Bodi. I think that's how you pronounce his last name. Um, 18 years of age, which is insane, bro. How composed and excellent he looks. But another player that we might see him get a big move. So that's been one of my shocking players that I've seen so far at this World Cup. How well the Moroccan midfielder has been doing this tournament. What about you? What are your thoughts on Morocco, real quick? I know they quote unquote are the AFCON champions on technicality, even though they are the people's champ and although they're not the people's champ, which we see in Senegal being. But I don't know, thoughts on Morocco.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I know we obviously talk a lot about, and other people noted like the FIFA rankings are and everything, but they are ranked seventh in the nation. And as you talk about, they are the technical AFCON champions. They still have went the length in that tournament, even if they didn't technically get the result. I don't know. I don't know enough about that, the ins and outs about that, declare a certain winner in that. So I'll just say there's the controversial topic. But yeah, they've looked good. I think this game maybe will open some eyes just to sort of how their defense will look throughout this tournament. That's obviously going to come into question depending on who they end up playing in their tournament. I mean, I think it's right now they're set to face Netherlands in that opening round, and that's going to be a tough round matchup. The one thing you haven't worried about so far is your attack, Salbari, Salbari. I'm going to learn the name as he is obviously signed for Bayern Munich. Sort of that news sort of was kind of breaking heading into the tournament, and a lot of stuff has been finalized. I believe it is. The rumor was it was kept around under 50 million, with it going up to around maybe 55 with all the add-ons and whatever. I'm sure that stuff will come out later on. That's going to be huge. I believe he scored for Morocco in every single game so far in their tournament, so he's obviously been a huge factor for them. We know how good Hakimi's been. I believe, I guess maybe one of our first references of our fantasy league going on. I know he's a popular player for a lot of people's teams, I believe, and I know he's been racking up points. As you see, I think a goal and assist today. So I think they're one with, again, like a lot of other teams, it's how far their stars lead them. If Hakimi is on his day, if Saibari is able to produce for the team, along of the many other list of players, as you mentioned, that they got in midfield, as long as Brahim Diaz as well, like as long as they're performing, this is a team that I can take to go far. That first game against Netherlands is going to be tough. Either side can really win that game, and I think either side that wins that game can go on a far run. And it's fair to say if you're big on Morocco to beat the Netherlands, then you can be big on them to go for a little decent run in this tournament. Although I believe they would have to face a France probably or a Germany later on, most likely, and that's going to be tough. But that would be a fun matchup nonetheless. So yeah, I'm all in on Morocco. I think to at least put up a good fight against the Netherlands. I think I might even take them in that game. Although I might want to see how the Netherlands look in their next game as well. But yeah, I'm interested, and I think they've been, I mean, pretty good this year.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think Sabari. Dude, now I have to learn that fucking name. Jesus Christ. Um, Ismail Salbari, right? Correct.
Saibari,
Saibari.
yes.
Saibari. Okay. Sorry to any Moroccans out there. My apologies. I'm can't pronounce right now. I'm in for some reason. I'm just feeling a little bit sleepy right now. But how old is he, Isaac? I know you guys recently bought him, but how old is he again?
25.
25. That's not too bad. So that's entering prime years, and look, that's I guess you can put that on the list for the players that are definitely gonna that just cut the move and stuff like that, or the one of the rising stars. So look, man, two players that have been absolutely amazing this tournament in Sabari, and Jesus Christ, I can't remember the other dude's name, but the other midfielder that plays in Lille. Um, this is amazing for Moroccan football. It's especially for like the next AFCON tournament, more experience, more repetition, reputation, respect, tactics, whatever it may be with the rise of these stars. It's just big for Moroccan football. And people are just gonna like anybody growing up as well. They're gonna be watching the Moroccan teams as well. Any Moroccan watching growing up this by seeing this team, they're gonna be like, man, I want to be like that player. So you love to see it, man. You love to see it. So good on Morocco. Unfortunately, they didn't get first. If they would have gotten that result against Brazil, I think they could have. But goal difference is what matters. And Brazil scored those 3 goals against Haiti, and then obviously today they scored another 3 against Scotland as well. But now let's kind of move on to and shout out to Haiti as well. Shout out to
Yeah,
them.
first
Much
goal in
respect
52
to
years.
them. What you say? First one in 52 years? Yeah, I
I think
mean,
it was first goal in the World Cup in 52 years. I want to say.
yeah, because they didn't score against Scotland, and then they didn't score against Brazil. So yeah, no wonder they were celebrating. So I was like, why are they celebrating? And I forgot that it's because they scored the first World Cup. So shout out to them, man, and two amazing goals. Who was the one that scored that rocket of a goal? I forgot his name. Was it the right back? I think it was. Or is it or was it
I think it was Wilson Isidore. Yeah.
Wilson Isidore? Yeah, no, he was just what a fucking goal. I mean, Jesus, man, it reminds me of like a Fede Rocket when he went on that crazy run in 2022, where just banging those shots in left, right. So shout out to him, man. Absolutely amazing goal that Haiti scored, but and the own goal too. I mean, who cares, man? It's their first goal in the World Cup, man. Congratulations to them as
It
always.
was a very good passage of play too. It was a very good, nice link up play by the Haitian team as well.
Oh, definitely, completely agreed. Let's go to Brazil real quick as we kind of end up this first segment with the first few games, as I believe kickoff is about to start for Mexico and Czechia, and then obviously South Korea and South Africa. But Brazil, man, I'm torn with Brazil, right? I'm really torn because part of me thinks they're a little bit underrated with the fact that they have, I think, players who are not big names per se, which makes them a bit like underrated because people are like, oh, like they have this Ryan guy from Bournemouth or like Cunha who hasn't done, I guess, a world beater at United, for example, even though he's been really solid for them. And we know about their midfield issues. Like I've been so critical of that midfield for years now. Where I'm like, you need to rejuvenate that midfield and find some new pieces. Like Paqueta and Casemiro, if you're relying on them to really take a game and win a game against these big nations, I just think you're in big trouble. So that's kind of makes them a little bit underrated, but at the same time, we know their frailties. Defensively, I still don't see them that solid with Danilo and Santos. But when you have a player like Vinicius Jr., man, what can we say? What can we say? It in a knockout round, like who's to say Vinny doesn't come in and get you another like 2 to 3 goals and gives you the wonder pass of a Travella assist or beats his man 1, 2, 3, and then can lay it off to Acuna, who also has been absolutely amazing. I think he's on 3 goals for this Brazilian national team. Man, I'm really hoping the news that Vinny might leave Madrid is just not true, man. I really am. I don't know the reports that came out earlier this morning about him potentially leaving, and I'm scared, man. I don't want to lose this guy, even though I really want people to kind of understand that I think Mbappe and Vinny are are becoming into the same player. Both are not, I would say, the out and out wingers that we love and saw them when they first arrived on the scene, mainly for Vinny back in 22 and Mbappe back when he was in 2019 or 2018 with France. They've kind of now developed into these players that are becoming very effective inside the area. And you saw that today with Vinny. I mean, and then the last game against Haiti as well, he was just getting into those zones where, he could have gotten like 3 to 4 goals. And today, again, he could have gone 4 if he was just a little bit more clinical as well. But that's what Mbappe does as well for this France team. And now, as I see these guys kind of succeed with their national teams as becoming the main man, the main focus of their international teams, you're really starting to see why they can't work in Madrid. And they occupy the same spaces. They occupy the same roles that one and the other just can't do. So if Vinny's going more middle, Mbappe has to go more to the left. But guess what happens? Mbappe's not that effective anymore in the left wing, and he becomes very stagnant. And same thing for Vinny. What sucks to see about Vinny is, while I still think he's a better winger, you just saw it a lot, especially in that Morocco game. He's just not the same player that he was. And it hurts to see that, but you're starting to see it like, wow, he's just lost a little bit of that agility, that burst of speed that he had when he was 22. Because now he's heading closer to 30 than he is to 22. Like he's 25, but I think his birthday's coming up to become 26 too. So these are two players that are becoming older, but they're expanding their game in the sense that we're going to be in those kind of inside forward type of roles where we're going to occupy these type of zones in the box, like around these zones right here. Um, so I don't know. Madrid have a big decision to make, man. A real big decision. And yeah, and if you see the heat map right here, I mean, I know that a lot of it was on the left too, but you see like in that middle type of zone where he picked up the ball and made those runs, and you know, you see he had the most touches too. Like Vinny's the type of player that just needs to get touches, and Mbappe's the same thing as well. So it sucks, man. Someone's gonna leave this summer. I think someone is. Someone's definitely gonna leave, and from what we're seeing earlier this morning with the reports, it's looking like he's gonna leave. And I don't know. That's the fear that I have as a Madrid fan. You're seeing two players that are really the same players. They can't be in the same team, and if one's gonna thrive, the other one has to go, and that's what it is. And I thank Carlo for kind of showing people that with the way he's had Vinny playing. So I don't know. What are your thoughts for Brazil? What are your thoughts on Vinny, Brazil, all these type of things?
Yeah, it's funny if you remember. I have Vinny as my leading goal scorer or my Golden Boot winner. I think ahead of the tournament, and I think a lot of it I said rested on his ability to go far in this tournament. Although I think we said that last episode, and I think it's true for really whoever wins that award or whoever's going to score the most goals. It really depends on who goes on the longer run. And if you guys go on around the same run, then it will come down to obviously quality or maybe being the main focus of this team. And it's to that point I think I talk about Vinny because it seems like he's really been just the offensive focus for this team throughout this tournament. I don't think he has every goal for them in this tournament, but it feels like he has every goal for them this tournament. I don't know, Jeff. You might know that better than I. But he's simply been a leader for this team in this tournament. I think you've talking about the rise of him throughout this tournament, maybe more as a leader of that team or the face of that Brazilian team. And yeah, I don't disagree with any of the questions in defense. However, I think I'd still argue that it's a defense that's better than a lot of teams sort of in this tournament. Uh, it's a defense that I think if maybe even the U.S. had against a team like Spain, maybe we're a smidge more confident against. And maybe that doesn't mean everything. And maybe that doesn't mean you'd still even take them in a game against like that. But I think it still leaves me a little bit more confidence. I thought Allison had a good game today. Granted, it was still Scotland, but I thought whenever he was called upon, I was able to catch really that second half. I caught maybe the last 30 minutes. It seemed like he did fairly well. Obviously got the clean sheet today, although that's kind of on the unit. It's going to come down to the matchups. I believe that this Brazilian team, though, can get it done. All this is where I get kind of into my illogical thinking when it comes to this. I kind of had they're a fairy tale team. There's sometimes when it clicks for Brazil. There's sometimes when it goes right. I mean, 1994, obviously they won it in the U.S. Who's to say they can't go ahead and repeat it yet again? I have confidence in them. They seem like they were just having a lot of fun today. It's a team that seems like that they're gelling more. And I think the announcers talked about it for the game. It's a team that seems like they're really starting to figure their chemistry out sort of as the tournament goes on. You could see Neymar mixed in today. I believe, did Endrick come in at all today? I know he was on the bench.
Yeah, he did came on. I think he
Yeah.
started occupying for Ryan's role, and I thought he
Okay.
did well. I think there was a sequence where I'm like, dude, if you're just a little bit more unselfish, you could have taken that shot and just like, man, you maybe rip a goal and get your first World Cup goal in there. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, go continue.
No, I was. It was. I didn't have much else to say after that. Yeah, it's just like I think if it's a team, if you trust that they're going to go far or they're going to be able to be a competitive team against those higher end teams when they do eventually play one. If you believe Vinny can shine, then yeah, why not? And again, I'm going to back my guy Vinny to maybe still be the leading goal scorer for this tournament. I don't know what he's on now, maybe 3 or 4. I want to say. Who's to
I
say? I
guess
mean, it
this is
depends.
a I guess this is a perfect place to do our Golden Boot race update. If you
Yeah.
want to, if there's a way you can kind of show that on the screen, because no, I think he's right in the mix right now. I think he has four. He has four. He scored one against Morocco. I think he got one against Haiti, and then he just scored two today. And he should have had three. I swear he should have had three. And I know it's not because of the foul call that wasn't on there. It was more so in the fact that I think he just wasn't clinical enough in that second half. Like you saw the one pass that Paqueta gave him, and he was in that little zone right there. He's got to put more power to that. I think like in the last minute where like there was a last counter attack, and I think he could have got a Neymar an assist right there. Just rip it. You didn't have to go near post, man. Just bomb that shit to the other corner, and you could have probably you had the space, you know. But these are the type of things I've been so impressed with Vinny with Brazil is that he's getting into these pockets, into these zones. Even against that Morocco game, where I think he was a little bit more like in that first half, he got that amazing goal. That was just a super goal that he scored. Like that was just Vinny's magic. You know, that's the type of shit that you can't teach to a lot of players. But I think in that second half against Morocco, he's starting to get into those little pockets and zones, like that little left. Like again, it's like a left forward type of role. Like he's not a winger, but he's not a striker at the same time. He's like a left forward. Like think of it like a Salah role. And that's why I think Salah is such a big player, is because he's almost changing the game in the sense that your wingers now might not be the same explosive players, but if you become those type of players that can be effective in the final third, you're gonna build around you. Where even if you have just a bit of that magic in left in you, in that speed in those type of zones, you're gonna become a very dangerous player. And if you can occasionally drift out wide just so other players can make those runs, just to give the opposition a little bit more trouble, you're it makes your team just a whole lot better. So I don't know. I'm I thought you were bluffing, bro. Your prediction has been spot on, man. So give yourself a pat on the back because he does have a good shot. I mean, I don't know who they're playing up next. I did say Messi is probably going to win the Golden Boot, but you're not far off, man. I mean, to see Vinny in the ranks of like the top scorers of this World Cup just makes me happy, man. I'm just happy. Um, but as it stands, yes, they could put from Netherlands group. They would potentially be playing either
I
Japan
mean,
or I
and let's
believe
also be
Sweden.
honest here. They're most likely playing. Sorry, but like a Brazil or is most likely playing in England in a semi, or to get to get to a semi. Excuse me. That Brazil England isn't like oh my god, England's going to crush them or I favor them by so much in that game. With how not iffy I think England's defense has been at some points, that's a game we think Brazil could win. Not saying they're guaranteed to, but then there we go. Then they're 1 or 2 games away from a World Cup final, and that's fair to say. That's where we expect Brazil to be in a World Cup. Sorry.
Yeah, no, definitely. No, I completely agree. I mean, these are what the standings are looking like, as you can see. For any of our listeners out on Spotify, we're just looking at the group knockout tables right here. We see Brazil and Japan, Ivory Coast and Norway, potentially, if Norway staying where they're at. Mexico and Scotland, obviously, which would be, I can't wait to see Scotland. If there's a way Scotland can go up against Mexico as it stands, oh my God, just seeing the Scottish and Mexico is just gonna make my day, man. I will be tuning into their feed. I will be seeing the Tartan Army in Mexico, and maybe their night ends there, but or maybe their night continues, and we might get an England versus Scotland just fucking battle, which I want to see so badly. Between the rivalry of those two teams, historic rivalry, if I should mention as well. Which shout out to Jared Butler. I saw some actors out there. Jared Butler, Scottish. Shout out to you, man. One of my favorite actors that I did see at that game, and obviously the iconic Scottish movie with Mel Gibson in there. God, what's the name of the movie?
Braveheart.
What was this? Braveheart.
The Braveheart,
Yeah, that's the movie. Yeah, so I want to see Scotland in it. But no, you're absolutely right, man. If Brazil do go far, I think with the way they're standing, like they really do have a good shot to get out this. And like you said against England, who knows if Brazil just sit back, sit deep, and just play on a counter, you have a real good shot against that England team, especially with the fact that they didn't look that great defensively against Ghana when they got hit on the break as well. So we'll have to wait and see. But no, shout out to Vinny, man. I'm just so happy to see him perform, and people are starting to see, and he has like those the ghosts and the troubles of, oh, he doesn't perform on an international stage. Like he only has 12 or 13 goals for the Brazilian national team. But look how many stats he has in like the World Cup in just 2 World Cups that he has. I think he's like, what was it, with like 8 GA? Like I think he has like a goal. What was it, like 5 goals in the World Cup with I think 3 assists or 4 assists if I'm not mistaken. So he always turns up, man. He could get more too, man. So that's all I got. And he's 3 goals away from breaking Neymar's record in with World Cup goals as well. So take that with what you will, man. I mean, he's no Neymar, but like, I mean, to be in the same numbers and categories with more World
yeah.
Cup goals than Ronaldinho, than Neymar potentially too, that says a lot. Come on now. But switching gears real quick before we move on to obviously our home fucking nation, our American boys that we love to love and praise. Please, as always, go out and show love to Robin Stone and at Stone Pictures. As always, much love to you, my brother. Can't wait to see potentially Lumen Field. I know he's a big Seahawks fan, so Lumen Field, as always, in Seattle. Shout out to Seattle, amazing fan base. And yeah, man, just much love to you, my guy. But USA, 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 USA. Mr. Housen, man, I can't believe we're in Matchday 3 and we already got first place locked. Isn't that crazy to say? And I know I got my group wrong. I know I got my prediction wrong. It was miserably wrong. I mean, horribly wrong. I mean, I think everyone got their shit wrong. Besides you with, I think, or someone had, who was it? I think you had USA first, right? Everyone had
Yeah.
them right. But it was the second place team that completely fucked it up. Turkey, what the hell, man? What the hell, bro? Come on. What was that all about? Stinking it up against Paraguay. Stinking it up against who's the other team? Australia too. Come on. But Turkey will be a discussion for probably another day or probably never because they don't even deserve our time or attention. Let's talk about USA, man. First of the group, how does it feel, man? First of the group.
Feels nice. It's like you're weird to be thinking a year if you win tomorrow is the first time the US will ever won all their games in a group stage of like this style of the World Cup. So that's wonderful to be saying for the first time ever. We've talked about a lot, I think, off camera, maybe a little bit yesterday, about how we've liked sort of the draw we might be having at least up into, I want to say, the quarters. I think then possibly facing a Spain or a Portugal or something like that. But yeah, I think you've been happy. It's fair to say maybe worried about Pulisic. Obviously, I think so far it was more a bit more caution. I think maybe if you really needed to for some reason, he might have been able to suit up for some period of time in the last game. And there's obviously a lot of call to rest him. You're looking at the projected lineup right there. There's a lot of names that haven't been starting in the recent games, obviously, with a mix of yellow cards and wanting to keep some guys healthy and rested ahead of the knockout. You're going to see probably some changes. I mean, I'll be honest. I don't know if it'll be this many or if it'll be this many to start. They might want to keep more of a similar lineup to keep it more of a competitive result to start with. And then even as the game goes on, if it is able to stay tighter for them to go ahead, then they're able to make the changes they want. But maybe a change in net. I think all the goalies, you've been happy with Freeze, but all those goalies are similar on quality to where I think you can change them in and out and maybe to get Turner some experience in. He's obviously been a little bit more veteran, obviously a part of that last rotation. Yeah, you've been happy. Again, you talk about Turkey for a brief second. You've been surprised we're playing them. Obviously, it's weird to think. I mean, this was a game that I think going into the group stages, probably if you go back to our first episode, we talk a lot about circling on the calendars. This will be maybe what determines the group. I can't wait to watch this game, yada, yada, yada. Yeah, like you said, to think now that this is the game that doesn't even matter and it's essentially kind of like a friendly and like a tune-up game. Granted, still a World Cup game, still all these are official stats, and it's taken as serious as it will be. Yeah, crazy to say. I'm ecstatic. Pochettino, I've been happy with this tournament. Obviously, I've said a lot about going into it. Obviously, said a lot about him potentially leaving. I'll eat crow there. I will own up on the fact that if you deliver a good tournament, which obviously that's how it's going right now, and we've looked great. I'm not going to start doubting this team now, especially with how Pochettino has got this team playing in this tournament, when so much of this is momentum based. I'm excited. I would like him to stay, obviously, maybe a bit longer and have a little bit more of that dedication to the project, especially if we do well. But I get it that job market's always going to come a calling. But I don't want to really talk about who wants to think about that now. It's time to enjoy the football we got in front of us. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm really, yeah, I kind of want to see some of those changes in defense. I'll be excited to see maybe rein in some more action, Pepe, and so forth. And Weah could be back as well. That'll be nice to see. So I don't know. I'm excited. I'm happy. I'm just optimistic and I'm happy.
No, definitely, man. I am extremely happy, and I think, um, like I support Real Madrid, but in the international stage, like obviously a big Peru and obviously USA fan. Two nations are obviously big and respectful in their own right, um, in the footballing nation, but just not to the levels of like a France or a Spain or an England, for example, even to that sense where you're making consistent semifinals in the Euros and all these type of things. No disrespect to CONCACAF, but like again, Europe and World Cup are just different animals and beasts when it comes to these type of competitions. But I've never been that happy with these international teams like this before. I'm just extremely proud of like everything that has been going on, the energy, the vibes. Just not only I think part of it is just with the World Cup energy that's been coming in with the cultures that we've talked about briefly in yesterday's kind of match day recap or daily recap of World Cup and stuff like that. I've just been so impressed with this team. Just the way we're playing, the way Pochettino has them set up, how physically dominant we are, while also mixing in a few players that are technically so good that we can break a low block or break some defensive teams down just with ease with our movements and stuff. And that's where like I've just been so happy with Pochettino as of late, man. Like I love that guy for how well we're playing, and we're playing good. I'm a big Madrid fan, so a lot of the times you don't play well. You're not bright with the way your team is playing with the players that you have. So you're always very critical. Even if you win, the critical part is like, oh, but you didn't play that well, but you won. We're winning and we're also playing really fucking well. You're just like, man, I love the football. I love the way we're combining on the wings and the midfield and the pockets. And even without a player like Pulisic, and you see how we dominated Australia in that second matchday game, incredible ambience down there with at Seattle. I mean, God, you couldn't ask for a better like second match day to start off a world like to be in a World Cup environment. And the way we played, the way we were missing a few players here and there, the tactical switch up to have Bellingham up left, even though we were playing a two striker formation and having him be the more vertical player on the wings, it's just been like Poch has just been getting it right like these whole fucking time, bro. So I'm just happy, and it's just like, damn, like really, we're first. Like it just like I was going in stressed, like how are we gonna break down Paraguay? Australia's gonna give us some trouble. I'm like, maybe that's a team where we went 2-0 comfortably or something like that. And then I was like, dude, I don't know how we're gonna look against Turkey. We're probably gonna lose that game because Turkey are gonna come in and just break us apart with Arda Güler and Kenan Yildiz and all these type of players. But here we are, man, and we're not even thinking about Turkey. We're thinking about resting some of our players, which I'm happy about. Like, yeah, we gotta rest some of our players, and we'll have to wait and see. And I'm actually like very confident this will probably be the lineup he will probably put out for I believe tomorrow's game, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, I want to see some Reina pick up some more action. We haven't seen him really play that much since he scored that wonder goal against Paraguay in that first match day, in that first game of the World Cup for us. And get Pepe some shouts too to maybe get some more racks in there. I know he wasn't great in the Australia game, but I think he kind of did his role to what he had to do as like a supplementary piece to Balogun. And yeah, just to get to see McKennie, Des probably get some rest, and maybe Weah, who we're probably going to call upon him to get some minutes when we play against those teams where we are going to go in the break. We're going to need his pace and his decision making and his effectiveness in the final third. Give him some rest and give him some reps to lock down and break this Turkey team apart. So yeah, man, I'm happy. And why don't we take a look real quick as to their potential matchups? I know Spain will probably be on our side, if I'm not mistaken, because I think they also are kind of favored to get first place out of that group because I do see them beating Uruguay. No offense. So yeah, I mean Portugal and Spain, and Portugal and Spain are probably gonna kill themselves if Portugal do get first, which no, or second, or oh wait, no. So Colombia, if Colombia gets second, they would go up against Ghana. So it would be probably Spain versus Colombia if the
Yes, yeah.
favorites of that go through. I just see Spain going through. No, like that's one of the World Cup favorites I have coming into this tournament. So I see them going far. But I mean, against Bosnia, that's going to be a tough matchup. If all goes well with the other standings and stuff. And then obviously Egypt and the other. I mean, Egypt are probably in there as well. So we'll have to wait and see. But like, these are just favorable matchups that I can't wait to see us either take care of business or. Yeah, man. I don't know. I'm just like happy, but also like, man, I just don't want to see fucking Ream go up against Lamine Yamal and having to deal with Pedri in there. That's gonna be something, man. I don't know. That's where I'm kind of nervous. But any updates on Pulisic as of now for his injury update?
I don't know as much. I think that's something they probably want to keep tight at. I'd assume he'll be ready when they need him in the knockout set, would be my guess.
Yeah, no, definitely. But hopefully we get him back soon. I think for me, from what I've looked at, what I've heard, and my predictions, just to give my opinion, my unprofessional opinion on medical stuff. I think he will probably get some minutes against Turkey, but it'll probably be like 10 minutes. And then we'll see him probably against that Bosnia game. Like we'll probably see him start, or if not, worst case scenario, he will start on the bench. But then, right second half, if all's worst case scenario, like we're losing or something, I think he'll come in immediately in. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But I've just been so impressed, like really impressed with the USA, man. Absolutely impressed with the way they've been performing, um, and we can just really get to a quarterfinals with ease. I think if we just take care of business, because all the other three teams that we might potentially face, I'm just confident. Like that's how confident I am. I think we can beat the hell out of Bosnia. I think whoever comes out of Egypt's group or that bracket, I think we beat the hell out of them too in the round of 16. And we just have to go in and fight against Spain or Portugal or Colombia, whoever goes through on that side. And God, if we beat Spain, bro, and we can take out the screen as I get out of here. But man, if we beat Spain, bro, what are you doing, bro? If we beat Spain, dead ass.
I don't
What
know,
will you
just
do?
celebrating and then getting nervous for who would that leave us to play?
Which will be
Probably
probably be
France,
France. And
which
let's
you're
say we
like,
do
okay,
beat and what if we do beat France?
we're winning the whole. We got to be saying we're winning the whole damn thing, right? If we're beating
right?
France to go to a World Cup final, like you got to just be like we're winning the whole thing, right? For as
Yeah,
illogical as
we're
that's never going to
like,
happen, but
I want people to understand this. If we win this shit, I think we're calling up every crazy fucking fan base around the United States of America. You're gonna get those crazy people from LA coming out and fucking celebrating like crazy. You're gonna get the Republicans out here. You're gonna get your Democrats out here. You're gonna get your New Yorkers just, call all Knicks fans to just go into to celebrate in NYC. Like, I. What do we win the? What are you doing if we win the World Cup? What do we? I mean, I know I'm fucking being delusional, but what
I
in
don't
the
know.
near future, man?
Crying,
Cry?
I'll probably
I might
cry.
go
Yeah, I'll be
I'll go
honest.
butt ass naked around LA, bro. If we
There we
fucking
go.
win this fucking tournament.
I'll hold you to
If
that.
we
I'll
beat
hold you to
Spain,
that.
oh my god, oh my god, Isaac, if we beat Spain somehow, some way, like just magic voodoo out of our ass,
That game would be in LA too, I believe, according to
that would be an
FootMob.
LA game.
That game would be in LA, and if you were to play France, hypothetically, or whoever would be in that, it would be in Dallas, I believe.
My god, bro, I don't know what I'll do. I don't know what I'll do. But thank you, Botch, man. Thank you. And I hope you do stay. But like you said, man, we'll enjoy the football, take care of business tomorrow against Turkey, and then see who we face later tonight, which will most likely be Bosnia. And again, tough matchup because they're the ones that did knock out Italy, if you want to be more technical in that way. So this is a team that you can't really take your foot off the
Yeah,
gas, but
exactly.
I think with the way we've been playing, the way we've ripped apart Paraguay, and the way we've been playing, even without Pulisic in that Australia game, I'm really confident. I'm really confident. But before we go on to just to close off the show, as always, please follow us on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. As always, um, thank you for showing love to the content and all these type of things, and much love to you. We got more coming up on the way as the knockout rounds head over and get closer and closer this coming weekend and Monday. I know we kind of briefly touched about it yesterday. I wish we could have had more people on the show today. Obviously, everyone's out there. Shout out to Kieran as always. I think he's still out there in Houston having a blast to those fan events and stuff. I know Sam might be going to a game, so I think Jude might be going to a game as well, if I'm not mistaken. So I might have to go see if he pulls up here in California or if it's in Seattle. But I don't know, man. We'll go on. What's been your? I think I had it here in the document. What so far has been like just your standout, like just moment, I guess. Like, who's been your? Let's do for the time being here your. I don't know, best fan base or funniest fan base that you've seen. I mean, we've had so many. The Tartan Army. We have the
Yeah,
Norwegian Roar.
I'll
And
go
this
with
can
the
include not only just at the games. I'm just talking about like the outside environment too, where like they're going to like the bars or like they're going to City Field to watch like what we just saw today earlier this morning with the Norwegians out at City Field just doing the chants, or some of the Tartan Army at the New York Yankee State at Yankee Stadium or Yankee games. Like, what's been your funniest one so far?
I gotta go. I mean, shout out. He played in the most recent game, the DR Congo's living statue of it, former independent leader Lumumba. Anyone can look up the history about that. Great, a lot of great history about that. Learn a lot about the Congo and through Africa and stuff like that as well. So that's always very interesting. So that's been nice and glad to see him in for that game. I'll go the Norwegian rowers. I think maybe the Tartan Army you've been seeing a lot of. So I mean, I don't doubt anybody if they want to go with that. The rowers have been great. I mean, even like my family, I'll shout out my sister Ava. She was even noticing them like substantially when she was watching the game. That was something she was very impressed by. So like that to be noticed by people that aren't used to watching soccer or have never watched it before in their life are now starting to. That's always really cool to note. And then yeah, just you talk about sort of the environment and the base. It's got to be Mexico. I think the interaction between them and the South Korean fans we talk about in late previous in the episode, like if they get a chance to play a Scotland, just what that environment is, regardless whoever else is going to go down there, them interacting with them is going to be amazing. I think in terms of sort of embracement, not that it hasn't been amazing in Canada and the US. I think it just has gone as expected in Mexico, and that's a great sight. And I'm glad like anytime that European country or nations or African nations or Asian nations get to come over, they get to sort of experience that great hospitality that Mexico sort of always seems to offer at these tournaments.
Yeah. No, definitely. I think the next great debate that we're going to be talking about for the next few years will not be like, oh, Messi versus Ronaldo. I think it'll be the Tartan Army versus the Norwegian Vikings. I think that's going to be the next great debate that we'll be talking about for the next. Who has the bigger impact, the Tartan Army or the Norwegian Row? Because at first I was like, the Tartan Army got some like got some motion. Like, you're going to this, you're going to this. Even Freddie had some motion too, but he kind of died down for a bit. We are like, damn, Freddie got motion. Then Tartan Army came in. Fuck, I had the Mexican Ducks coming in too. And then the Norwegian Road just kind of built its way up and up and up and up. And now they've been going to City Field. Now they're going to the places. They were in the NYC up the down at Manhattan at Times Square, just doing the Norwegian Rows. We had them doing the interrupting like some yoga classes. Like, I'm very curious. Like, what? Unless it's to the people, I'll probably make this real. Like, who's been more impactful? Who's been the better fans? Like between those two, really? Because I think those are the two leading the race right now, in my opinion. Then you saw them um, do the row after their game as well. I think against Senegal too. So I don't know, to the fans out there, man. Which has been the best? I might have to bring that poll up. My opinion, I'm still gonna go Tartan Army. In my opinion, I
Mm.
just have to. It's just they're fucking hilarious. I mean, the way they've changed Boston. I mean, you have to understand the way Boston is viewed upon here in the States. Just to get that rep of like now, Boston people are starting to see that and gladly welcome them in. That's just undefeated, bro. That is undefeated, in my opinion. But hey, like someone said as well, I think in a TikTok, I think I saw, it is 2016. If you think about it, 10 years since 2016, one of the greatest summers. And who was doing that big stuff in Europe as well? My Iceland fans, remember them when they were at the Euros too, doing the clap
Yeah.
as well. So they kind of taken their spot as well. And we know how much that we love them too. So I don't know. That's my opinion. For like best fans and funniest moments. And I think my funniest one will forever be like one of the Scottish fans being interviewed after their win against Haiti, and they went to a Red Sox game, and they asked him, "How many innings are there?" There's 9. You're having a laugh. Like that killed me. And then obviously the cheeky guys coming in with the Red Sox, like, "Oh yeah, I'm wearing my Red Sox, so that counts, right?" That is just complete English banter right there. I love that. Great British banter right there that I love to see. Best goal. What has been your best goal so far, in your opinion?
We
I think we
talked
kind of
about it. I
spoiled it,
think
but
it's got to be today's, right? I think that was like it's the sentiment I saw on Twitter. I mean, it was an absolute cracker by the Haitian. I want to make sure I want to bring it up so I have it correctly. Yeah, I just the outside the box. If I top ins, if not, fires it past the keeper. Wilson Isidore, Sunderland, the attacking midfielder, just a beautiful strike. It's one of those where, like, jokingly, I think it's something I've heard a lot from my dad or just from people when you watch soccer. You have all those times when players take the outside the box shots and they either sky it over the crossbar or it gets blocked and nothing comes of it. And there's always a bit like, why do they do that? Like, what that goal today by Isidore? That's why they do that. So you can score goals like that because you can still do it. And these players are so talented that like that's why you take those chances. And chef's kiss, I could never do that.
yeah, no, I know my fat ass ain't doing that shit. So no offense, but no, I mean that's definitely one of the contenders out there. I'm trying to think. Like I know Vinny's goal was really good. Um, I still think I have to go with Mbappe's goal versus I believe it was Senegal, the second one that he scored like to end off the game. I think there's just been a lot of motion around Mbappe's name to where like they kind of doubt him as like this leader and all these type of things. Like, does he care about the badge or whatever the hell it may be? The pressure that he's coming in, going back to back seasons at the biggest club in the world and just not winning anything. So this World Cup is really a way for him to just kind of like alleviate himself away from that stress. But you have to perform in the same way. And that goal, man. I mean, Senegal, or was it like 2-1 for Senegal, or like 3-1 for Senegal, if I'm not mistaken? Because I think Mbappe scored and then Elise scored or someone else scored in that matchup. But Mbappe comes in, Senegal score, and then Mbappe just responds and just rips one to the top right corner, so top left corner. And I don't know the technique to that, the power, the placement, and the moment too, the game as well. You're just like Messi just scored, I believe, a hat trick the day before or before or the uh, was it before or after? If I'm not mistaken, I think it was after, right?
Before I
If I'm
think,
not,
but I don't remember off the top of my head.
I don't remember either, but yeah, like it's Messi, man. Like I think I have to go with that Mbappe goal for me. Like the moment too, you
Mm-hmm.
just have to. And there's other ones I can look at are I think the one that Cape Verde scored against Uruguay, that free kick that he
Mm.
scored. I mean, that's up there too. I know that
Yeah,
was probably
yeah.
more of Musler's mistake, but that's one you can really put up in there as well. And then I mean, Vinny's goal versus Morocco was pretty good. Messi's the first one he scored against, I believe, what was it that he scored against? Against Austria. That first one to open up the match, I thought that
Yeah,
one was just beautiful. First time inside the box, curl it,
oh,
bottom left
definitely.
corner, trademark Messi goal that you can't go wrong with, and the build up to it too.
I
Trying
mean,
to think of other
Balogun's in
goals.
against Paraguay was very good. That one where he skins the
Oh, that
defender
little
and
build
fires
up.
the top ends.
Oh yeah, that one's up there too. That I think to put a top left corner to kind of almost silence the game too, to give it like what was it, 3-0 or yeah,
3-1,
3-0.
I think, or 3-0, or yeah.
Yeah, before yeah. So those I think those are my top. I think those are my top three. The one that from Haiti scored that rocket, Mbappe's goal, and I think um Jesus, I'm losing my brain cells here. I'm so sorry. What was the goal that I just mentioned? Jesus Christ.
What? The free kick, or are you talking about Balogun's?
Balogun's. There we go. I just lost my head there. Balogun. So those are probably my top three for right now. Vinny's, Mbappe's, and Balogun's. Those are my top three for the time being. I wish I could put Messi's in there, but I don't know. I forgot about Balogun's going. I say Balogun gotta go in there. Let's see. Let's see what else we can close it off with. Um, Most frustrating team, man. I think there's been a lot of frustrating teams this tournament. I know we had Belgium, we've had Turkey, um, Senegal might be up in there too if they don't get a result. I believe against Iraq as well, and depending for them, they might have to like just destroy Iraq for the goal difference as well. So I don't know. What has been your most disappointing team?
I think I would maybe say Senegal out of that, just because Belgium still have like a good, decent opportunity to have somewhat of a chance, and they might even be able to win a few games in the knockout round. Again, I think maybe disappointing by standards, and I think they were another one. I think I even talked about heading into this. I think I used some of their players for maybe to get a move because of the performance they'd have in the tournament. I think that's not been the case, obviously, up until this point. So it's been kind of sad to see. So I don't default, or I don't blame anyone if they want to use them as their answer. I think I'll go Senegal because I think they're the most two I've heard as well, where some of the roster decisions have been kind of weird. Granted, it has just sort of been stuff I've seen on football Twitter and some internet spaces and TikTok and so forth. So that's not the full picture entirely, but they're playing a lot more of their veteran players that haven't really been seeming to perform. I think Koulibaly has even been subbed off in some games, which is kind of just not as expected for the veteran defender to be getting maybe pulled off in what, like the 60th or 70th minute of the game due to performance or something like that. Like that's kind of shocking. And especially I think for how some of their younger players you appeared to look heading into the tournament, you thought so, but they've just been allowing a lot of goals. They allowed, what was it, 3 against the US heading into it, and I think they've allowed at least 3 in their game so far. That exactly like you said, they need goals desperately in their last game, and if they don't get a good result, if they suffer yet again, if they lose by who even knows what measure, they're looking really bad, and I think some changes might happen there. So I think sadly I'll go Senegal, especially compared to how you've seen the other African teams do in this tournament. I mean, even Congo, you've talked about. Algeria still has a strong chance to get through. I think they're still looking to get through if they're not guaranteed. Ghana is obviously sitting currently in second place. You have Cape Verde, obviously, with a chance to go through as well. Like by the rest of those standards, Egypt is obviously in there as well, and they've been performing quite well. Morocco, obviously, second in that group. You're by the federation standards, you're not looking good as well by comparison, and that's obviously always not good. So I think I'd have to go Senegal in there.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think Senegal has been kind of a little bit of a letdown. Just I thought they would at least get a draw against Norway, and they probably could have if they were just a little bit more clinical and more solid defensive. But again, it's just hard when you're going up against fucking Erling Haaland, who's like arguably the best striker in the world with Harry Kane. So it's like, what can you do? Especially with Starloth and those supporting pieces in there as well. I'm still gonna go Turkey. I think there's no way you're a team like that where your two best players are not your focal points in Kenan Yildiz and Arda Güler, and you're still misprofiling those type of players and not putting them in areas to succeed. And they were not placed in areas to succeed, based on their manager, based on the players around him, based on the leaders out there as well, which have Alanglu and those strikers as well. I still got to go Turkey, man. Like I think you could have gotten a result against Australia with those superstar players that you do have, just in terms of the names as well, where they're playing at, what clubs they're playing for. And then like you're up a man against Paraguay, and you're telling me you couldn't even break them down, like even like an inch close to how we did with our physicality and our playmakers and our players. Like you couldn't even replicate a single thing to what they did, and that was with them with 10 men. That is a fucking joke. I am so sorry. That is the most disappointing team. So All I'll say for Turkey, real quick, to end it off here, before we give our like predictions for tomorrow's games and maybe today's games. Look, you got to build around those two, and I better not see Arda Güler in the wrong spots as always. Like you can't do that. There's no way they're not getting more touches than what they were doing in that game, and the way they just weren't platformed to really succeed. Like there's just no way, no way, impossible. How they didn't get more touches? How Kenan Yıldız didn't start that first game to me is just beyond, beyond me. But we'll have to wait and see. I don't know. That's my. I think for me, I still have to go Turkey, especially with the way I had them probably coming in first two. Easily could have won that Australia game, and you should have taken care of business against Paraguay and not struggle. With the two players you have, who are probably the best players you can go up against a low block. I don't know. That's my opinion, but I guess we're gonna end it off here, man. We're kind of running late on time, but they want to say quickly, what are your predictions for tomorrow? Because tomorrow are another set of group of big games, for obviously USA's group, but kind of made our little predictions here and there. But we'll start off with Paraguay and Australia, tomorrow. So we got.
I think I still take Australia there, although I don't. It's risky. I'm actually gonna default to give me a second to pull them up. I have like the through the FIFA predictor, I've been playing sort of the game, like the point tally. So I want to pull up because actually I tracked these ahead of going into the matchup. I think I had Australia. I want to say getting a result in this. I think that they've just looked better so far in this tournament, and I'll match them. They weren't as much as we talked about the 2-0 win. I don't think they were entirely terrible, especially in that second half. And I definitely see them being able to be a little bit more clinical against a Paraguay team. Yeah, let me double check to make sure I have their score in. Yeah, I had that picking up a 2-1 win against Paraguay in that game.
2-1 win for Paraguay. Australia, you said?
For Australia, yes, yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, that's not a bad take. I mean, they didn't look that great against the US, but I don't know. They still got some good players in there that can probably rip apart a Paraguay, especially if they get it right. Is this really going to go down to who is going to sit deep and hit them on the break? Because I think both players can do it, but I think if Australia going to do it, I think they're the more dangerous team to do that in that sense. I don't think Paraguay have the clinical players to rip you apart in the game. I mean, it really took a wonder goal from one of their midfielders to get through Turkey, and it was just Paraguay sitting deep. So we'll have to wait and see. We'll do the prediction for USA Turkey last, but one of the big matchups tomorrow will be Group E, which will be Curacao versus Ivory Coast, I should say. How much are Curacao gonna concede in that game, if any? Honestly,
Seriously, I don't know. That'll be interesting. I don't really know what I'm going to go with for that one. I don't know. I'm interested to hear yours on that actually.
Ivory Coast versus Curacao. I think Ivory Coast get for shout out to our guy. I'm hoping to see if we can get him maybe for Sunday's game if they do go through. But I'm gonna go 2-0. I think they
I'll
get
go 3 now. I was going 3.
3-0. I'm gonna go 2-0. I
No.
think Amad Diallo is gonna continue his great form and get that. I mean, they made it tough for Germany. So look, and then Germany were able. I know they scored 7 passes. Curacao. Yeah, you know what? No, 3-0. I'm gonna copy you. 3-0. What am I tripping? 3-0. 3-0 against Curacao. But shout out to them. They got a point against Ecuador, who are obviously one of the favorites to get second or third place into this team alongside Germany. So, yeah, no, I think it's going to be a tough game for Coach Ivory, but I think they're going to get it. Honestly, they're going to get those points. Ecuador and Germany, that's also one of the big matchups that we were excited to see as well. I know Ecuador, as we said, are not the greatest offensively, but we know how good they can be defensively. So for Germany, they did go up against Coast Ivory, and it was a big tough challenge for them. What are you seeing for this game? Do you think Germany are going to be?
I just kind of see a draw, whether it be 1-1, 2-2. I think both the
1-1?
teams, sort of how they've been playing this tournament, have been fairly evenly matched.
Okay, I can see a 1-1. I'm gonna go Germany 2-1. I think Ecuador are gonna get a goal in this World Cup. There's no way they don't get at least one. I know Ener Valencia has been getting picked on throughout all of South American social media, not just Ecuadorian social media. Everyone has been picking on Ener Valencia for missing those chances. So I see him getting one, but I think Germany, with the way Undav has been playing, the way I think Nagelsmann has just kind of figured out the way he wants to start and lineup too, and the way they play, especially in that second half against Coast Ivory, a tougher opponent, mind you. Yeah, but for Ecuador, man, look, they need to get a result because if they don't, I don't know, man. A loss and that's it. I think that's it for them, right? If I'm not mistaken, a loss and that's it.
Most likely, I feel like.
Yeah, because I don't even think they will be enough with like goal difference and stuff like that. Yeah, they're in big trouble, man. But the other matchups I think that we have going on tomorrow as well is obviously from the Netherlands group, which would be Netherlands versus Tunisia. I don't think I'm going to make a prediction for that because I think Netherlands are absolutely going to beat the living shit out of Tunisia. By how many? I don't know. Probably a comfortable 3, 4 goals. I imagine you're going to say the same thing as well.
Yeah.
Tunisia are just automatically out and just haven't been in with the whole manager situation. Even with our guy Ryan coming in, just hasn't been able to put his foot on the team. So but I think the big matchup that I'm waiting for too, must watch, will be Japan versus Sweden. I think Japan, I don't think have the big name talents like the Sweden, but they definitely have the tacticians and the masters to just pull through and get a result out here. So I'm gonna stick to my guns and just say Japan are gonna pull through narrowly
Mhm.
with a 2-0 win over Sweden. Actually 3-1, 3-1 Japan.
Yeah,
What
I'd
about
say
you?
something like that. I think Japan's just a better team than Sweden. I think the inconsistency from Sweden, I can't commit to them, and I think Japan have just been performing better. I think you've seen them going into even as far as the last World Cup. I think just how they work as a unit. I a 2-1, 3-1. I definitely see the result there for them.
All right, awesome, cool. I think that'll be all for the games that we have for tomorrow. So what we're looking at to see for tomorrow is Germany to finish first, Ivory Coast to finish second, and Ecuador to finish third with Curacao and finishing and ending off their tournament there. For USA's group, obviously we have to do predictions for Turkey and USA. I completely forgot about that. How many do you think the USA will win by tomorrow, or
I don't. I
even we're
actually
gonna
had
get
a
a result?
draw on the score. I had like a 2-2 or like a 3-3, just because I think the rotations and substitutions. I think Turkey's going to come out with a lot to prove in their last game, regardless of being able to get out or qualify. I think they need to show a result, and I think you're going to see that energy from them, and I think you're going to finally see that quality shine through a little bit. But I see us being able to ultimately break them down defensively and get a result. I would love a win. I'm not shocked if we do win this game, but I have a draw actually. Maybe I don't know.
I'm
Maybe not expecting that. I guess from me.
I'm gonna go with how poor Turkey have just not been able to create any type of sort of. I think we will concede because I don't think we're just that great defensively. I just don't see this Turkey team just mentally strong enough to like even want to play this game or just prove out and show out. I don't think there'll be any support for them. It'll be a packed house for USA, obviously. Um, I'm just gonna go with probably a 2-1 USA win. Honestly, I just don't see this Turkey team being mentally wanting to play this game with everything that's been going on and said to them through the Turkish media and everything. You know how rough that media can get for them and how toxic it can be for some of those players as well. I just don't see it for them. So I'm gonna go with 2-1 win for USA. So I think for Group D we have USA finishing first. Um, I think for Paraguay and Australia, I do see Australia pulling the result too. So I'm gonna go Australia finish second, Paraguay third, and we're gonna have Turkey last, which fucking ruined my bracket. So thank you, assholes. Netherlands to beat the hell out of Tunisia. So we got Netherlands finishing first, and for both of us, we do have Japan coming in second and Sweden coming in at third, with Tunisia coming in last. And then obviously for us, we have Germany first, Ivory Coast second, Ecuador third, and Curacao fourth as well. But that'll be all for today's episode. Thank you, Isaac. As always, been very consistent with the show, so I really appreciate the love that you've been showing to me and the Out and Home podcast as always. Can't wait for Sunday just to give our full bracket predictions alongside the Canada game. If worst case scenario, we do our brackets before and then kind of give the explanation on Sunday to
Mhm.
see why we made those predictions and how we will result with Canada's game, because I think we'll be recording before, or I mean, sorry, after that Canada
Yes.
matchup. So we'll kind of like make that decision as it comes. Either we post our predictions for the brackets that Sunday morning, or we, say fuck it and we do it alongside the Canada result and just say, hey, like this is our prediction. So, that's all I got for you. Thank you so much for your time. And I'm loving this World Cup, man. I really am. Today was awesome. Shout out to Neymar. We got to see Neymar today on the field too. That was pretty awesome to see. I didn't get to briefly touch on that, but I love Neymar, so I was very happy to see just to see him on the field. Any thoughts on that too, real quick?
Just happy to see him. Even a name everyone can recognize. It's nice to see him fit enough to be on the
Yeah.
field. So yeah, any addition's a good addition for Brazil.
Oh no, definitely. And I think I'll say this real quick too because I think I forgot to mention this real quick. You mentioned like Brazil going far. I will say this. I think from what I saw in the brief little minutes that Neymar had, he's gonna get more minutes, man. I just love the way he could have had an assist. I'm being serious. There's a way he could have gotten an assist with his line breaking pass, like his his passing and his like combination with Vinny on that left side too looks just clean and fresh. So I'm hoping we get to see it a little bit. Maybe like worst case scenario, they have to break a low block, and that's a player that, man, if you need to break a low block, that's one player you can without question bring on to give you the right pass and link up. So I think we're gonna see Neymar more and more as the tournament heads on. I really think so. So good on your predictions with that, with respecting my boy and for Brazil too. There might be something there. There might, but we'll have to wait and see. But that'll be all, man. Thank you so much, and have a good rest of your day, man.